So now we would have taken our rice sample that would go in the oven and be for temperature. Then you take it out. We got two of these to break down, so a few different ways to approach this. This is going to be fairly warm when it comes out. And you got to work with it fairly quick. I would recommend having a fan on when you're doing this, but you're going to want to sit there and break that up by wearing gloves because you want to do it when it's hot and try to get all these particles broken apart, because if you let it sit around for any period of time, it will start to harden up on you, and it'll be harder to get all these small particles separated from the big ones. So it's what your ultimate goal is to try to get those apart. And a pair of rubber gloves works fairly well. Something that can handle the heat, that you can hold on to for a long enough time and not have really affect your hands, but also not really have material adhere to it either. Since we've gone to fibers, the oil tends to be more stuck to the samples and the fibers than we've had during the past. So it's going to be a little bit different when you're working with fresh HMA samples versus reheated samples. I find that the reheated ones tend to have less VAC that tends to come off. So I'll work this while it's warm, as it's cooling down. There's a little bit of urgency to get it done, but you also don't want to go too fast that you go too slow that it does start to set up on you. When you get to the point where you feel like you've gotten the majority of it broken apart, just add a little bit of air over the top. Help it cool down a little bit quicker, and then just keep on breaking it up like that and going through the pieces. And you have two of these to do, so you're going to do one and then you want to do the other one. Don't try to do both simultaneously. Just go through each one and sit there and break apart each one. I'm just trying to get some of these small ones to break apart. And get as much off the coarser area, get some rubbing between your fingers as you can. You can see here, a lot of material is pretty much separated. We've got some big pieces that have a few on it, you can grab those really easy and just run between your fingers and the small pieces fall right off. And I find the small little piece conglomerate mixed together, but for the most part they start to come apart pretty easy. Help you keeping that little cool air now running over it while you're doing it. Helps them from cooling down, not sticking back together again. Extent of it. You can go ahead and let that cool down, and then just maybe come back when it's completely cool and do it again. Knock off any of the pieces that might have stuck together. They'll come apart real easy now. It's just that when you start out, if you don't get them broken down small enough to begin with, then it makes it really challenging to get that done later. So we're on the rice test. The same process. We're just going to go ahead and follow the GMM process for theoretical gravity, and that's pretty much the extent of this process. We'll be discussing the differences in how to run the GMV specimen using the core lock next.